As the new year kicks off, the Las Vegas Raiders find themselves at a pivotal moment, especially with their new minority owner, Tom Brady. Questions are swirling about what the future holds for Brady and how his involvement with the Raiders will balance with his role in the broadcasting booth. This topic has been gaining traction, and recently, David Sampson shared his thoughts on the Dan Le Batard show. Here's what he had to say. Guess what? Tom Brady's running that team right now, and the NFL knows it, Fox knows it. Something's got to give. Enjoy Tom in the booth this season because you're not going to see him there next year. He'll be in the Raiders front office full-time, running that team. You can't do both, be the lead analyst for Fox and manage a football team. It's an insult to both professions. So next year, Tom Brady will step away from Fox and focus entirely on the Raiders. Period. This statement raises a lot of questions. If Sampson's prediction is correct, it points to a possible conflict of interest. How can Brady juggle both roles effectively, being a top-tier NFL analyst, while also steering the Raiders' football operations? It's a tough balancing act, and many argue it simply can't be done. Brady's transition from Super Bowl-winning quarterback to NFL minority owner has certainly sparked debate. His dual role as both Fox's lead analyst and a key decision-maker for the Raiders is unprecedented. Sampson argued that trying to do both is not just a logistical challenge, but also disrespectful to professionals in broadcasting and team management. Surprisingly, the NFL hasn't addressed this potential conflict of interest directly. For now, we're left to speculate. Will Brady step away from the Fox booth to focus entirely on the Raiders? If so, what does that mean for the team's future? One thing is for sure, whatever Brady decides will have major implications for both the Raiders and his post-playing career. What do you think? Should Brady focus solely on running the Raiders, or is it possible for him to manage both roles? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. NFL analysts are expected to give fair and unbiased opinions, but team owners often have a natural bias toward their own teams. Now that Tom Brady is an owner, he faces a tricky situation. As a commentator, he should be able to point out when NFL referees make mistakes, but being an owner makes that difficult. It's a strange position for him, and it will be fascinating to see how this affects the Raiders. This situation could go either way for the team. If Brady decides to step back from commentary, as some have suggested, it might actually benefit the Raiders. Personally, I would prefer to see Tom Brady take on a full-time role as the team's general manager or president of football operations. This way, he could focus all his energy on turning the Raiders around. Juggling both roles, as mentioned by Sampson, could be challenging. It's tough to excel at two demanding jobs at once. However, it has already been reported that Brady will play a significant role in the Raiders' front office, especially when it comes to selecting a quarterback. This isn't just a business deal for him. He's going to be hands-on in this operation. With Brady as an owner, there are many things he won't be able to do as a commentator. His new role comes with serious restrictions that could hold him back from truly shining as a broadcaster. For instance, he may not be able to attend certain events or speak freely about the game. It will be interesting to see how all of this unfolds. In broadcast production meetings, TV crews gather important information about NFL teams. However, with Tom Brady now being an owner, he faces several restrictions. He can't criticize any team other than the Raiders. He can't speak out against game officials, and he can only communicate with players from other teams through social media. NFL owners are expected to avoid chatting with players from other teams, which creates a tricky situation for Brady. With him juggling both roles, there's a lot of potential for conflicts of interest, and the NFL could easily point fingers at the Raiders. This makes it challenging for Brady to succeed in his role at Fox Sports. Another interesting aspect of this situation is Brady's contract with Fox Sports. He signed a massive 10-year deal worth $375 million in 2022 to become the network's lead NFL game analyst after retiring from football. That's about $37.5 million a year. However, there's no clear buyout clause mentioned in his contract, and there hasn't been any public information about a potential buyout. Now that Brady is an owner of the Raiders, questions arise about how this will affect his future with Fox Sports. Will they need to negotiate a buyout? If Brady struggles to perform well in his broadcasting role, Fox Sports might not be happy about paying him such a large sum for a job he isn't fully committed to. This is definitely something to keep in mind as he tries to balance both responsibilities, as it could impact his performance in both areas. For the Raiders, Tom Brady will need to find a way to manage his responsibilities without doing all the heavy lifting himself. He'll have to bring in people he trusts to handle most of the work. However, even with a strong team around him, the restrictions he faces as an NFL commentator will make it hard for him to shine in that role. Tom Brady has a deep love for football, and being involved in the front office and daily operations of a team is the closest he can get to being a player again. Given his competitive nature and passion for the game, I believe he would prefer to focus on the Raiders' front office. Honestly, I hope that's the path he chooses. As for Brady's future as an owner, whether he will be full-time or part-time remains uncertain. There are still many questions, especially since we've never seen a situation like this in the NFL before. This is truly a unique scenario, and it will be fascinating to see how the league handles it and what ultimately happens with Tom Brady. In other news, this morning we received some exciting news. The New England Patriots have officially hired Mike Vrabel as their new head coach. He has agreed to a multi-year contract, reportedly for 4 years. While the exact amount he'll earn each year hasn't been confirmed, it's believed to be around $15 million. This is great news for the Raiders because the Patriots could have been a potential landing spot for someone like Ben Johnson. With them out of the running, it looks like the Raiders, along with the Chicago Bears and the Jacksonville Jaguars, are now the top contenders for Johnson to take on a head coaching role in the NFL. This opens up the possibility of Ben Johnson becoming the next head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, but we'll have to wait and see what happens in the coming weeks. Raider Nation, I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Tom Brady's future as the owner of the Raiders? Do you believe he will leave his job at Fox and go full-time with the Raiders, or will he try to do both? Share your opinions in the comments below. That's all for today's video, Raider Nation. If you're new to the channel and love Raider-related content like this, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.